What's going on, everybody? We are back here with another video for you today. I just dropped my running back rankings. If you didn't see that, make sure to go check that out. Here today, we're going to be doing the wide receiver rankings for week 3 of fantasy football. I mean, these boys have been going absolutely nuclear this year. I'm sure they're going to keep it up. Make sure you drop a like on this video though. Subscribe down below if you haven't. We got a ton of content coming all year for y'all. Now with that said, we can get into these rankings. All right, first up, we got Cooper Kupp. I mean, not much really be said here. He's Cooper Kupp. He had 11 receptions, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's an absolute monster. You are obviously playing him every single week, going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who have been one of, if not the worst, coverage defense in the NFL this year. So he's going to absolutely dominate. We are firing Cooper Kupp, of course, every single week. After that, we're going to have Justin Jefferson, who he had a tough game last night against Darius Slay. Still had 12 targets. He's one of the best weapons in the entire NFL. Everybody's going to have bad weeks. Don't worry about it. Going up against the Detroit Lions should be a big bounce back week. He's going to dominate. After JJ, I'm going to have Stephon Diggs. If you had him this past week, you probably won your league. He went absolutely nuclear. 14 targets, 12 receptions, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has what should be a little bit tougher matchup against Miami, but they've been terrible in coverage this year, and it doesn't matter. It's Stephon Diggs. He's going to dominate. Nobody in the league can guard him. Another person you're playing every single week, no matter what. Moving on to the next tier, I'm going to have Jamar Chase as the first guy there. He didn't have a great week either. The Bengals just haven't looked good, and I do think that they're going to bounce back and be better, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried about it. Now, they're playing the New York Jets, so 100% should be a bounce back week. And regardless, Jamar Chase is a freak. You're going to play him no matter what, like these other guys. Just given how the offense has looked, I'm going to put him in a tier lower, but you're playing him regardless as a top 5 option every single week. Another guy who had a little bit of a lower week, but should be still really good, obviously, is going to be Devontae Adams. Only had 2 receptions, still had 6 targets, which you'll see more than that most weeks. And they're playing the Tennessee Titans, so it should be another market correction game for him. And like I talked about with Justin Jefferson, all wide receivers are going to have bad weeks. This is just one of those for Devontae, especially in a new offense. You know, new quarterback, I guess they played in college, but very different in the NFL. Still trying to build their chemistry together. I'm not worried about it, and you guys shouldn't either. And the last guy I'm going to have in this second tier is AJ Brown. He had an all right week, still had 8 targets though, and the Eagles look so goddamn good. They're also playing the Washington Commanders, which has been one of the worst 5 coverage teams in the NFL this year. So he's going to dominate them. I could even put him above Devontae Adams, but like these top 6 guys, you're splitting hairs between all of them who you have ranked the highest. This is just how I have them ranked. But like I've said in other videos, these guys you're all going to play no matter what, so there's not really that much to talk about here. All right, moving on to the next tier, I have Deebo Samuel. Obviously, Trey Lance got hurt this last week, and he's going to be out for the rest of the year, so Jimmy's going to be the starting quarterback. I am a Niners fan, if you guys weren't aware of that, so I have pretty mixed feelings about this. Obviously, I think we will be better with Jimmy this year, but we mortgage our entire future for Trey Lance. We need to know if he's the guy or not, and we're not going to know for an entire another year. So while this is probably good for this year, it sucks for the entire franchise. Fantasy-wise, though, it's got to help us all out. Unless you had Trey Lance, obviously, but for the other weapons, it's going to be very helpful. Trey Lance will be vulturing rushing attempts and touchdowns away at the goal line, even though Jimmy got a rushing touchdown. I mean, that could still happen, obviously, but for the most part, he's not a rushing quarterback, so he's not going to be stealing that work away from people like Deebo Samuel, Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, whoever is in the backfield. He's also a better passer, obviously. So Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, whenever he's back, they're going to be doing better there. They do have a pretty tough matchup this week against the Denver Broncos, but Deebo is going to be getting work all over the field, and he's a freak athlete and talent that you're not worried about it at all. He's going to be a stud here on out. After that, I don't know if this is going to be too spicy for y'all, but I actually have Amon-Ra St. Brown ranked next. He's going up against the Minnesota Vikings, and he has absolutely dominated so far this year. This past week, he had 9 receptions for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 2 rushing attempts for 68 yards. He did this at the end of last year. He's done it week 1 and week 2. There comes a point where somebody like this, he's not just having some good games, he's just elite. And if you watch him, he's just really goddamn good at football. He gets wide open. He can make people miss. He kind of has everything right now, and there's no Jameson Williams. He's obviously shown that he can coexist with DeAndre Swift and I guess TJ Hawkinson, even though he's not getting a ton of work. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is a wide receiver 1 from here on out until we see otherwise, which probably won't be until like Jameson Williams comes back, and even then he's coming off a torn ACL and he's a rookie, so we don't know what that's going to look like. But for the time being, I think he is a clear wide receiver 1, and I am playing him as such. Unfortunately, I don't have enough shares of him as I'd like to now, but what can you do? It is what it is, and he's not really someone I'm trying to sell high on. I mean, if you can get somebody up here or like an elite running back, I guess, but I think that he's going to keep dominating, as you can see where I have him ranked. But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver 8 for me this week. After that, I have Tyreek Hill, who, you know, probably would normally be ranked against Amon-Ra, especially after the ridiculous week he put up this past week with 11 receptions, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They are going up against the Buffalo Bills, which has been one of the best defenses in the NFL this year. So I do have some worry about that, and just one of the reasons why I put Amon-Ra above him, but that was kind of the only thing. Tyreek Hill is way too good to be ranked any lower, and he's shown that he can and will produce with Tua and their new coaching staff and everything going on in Miami. I mean, everyone by now watching these videos has either saw or heard of what happened there this past weekend. It was crazy. Tua went nuclear. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, absolute monsters, and you're playing them every single week as wide receiver 1s. Okay, after Tyreek Hill, I have Mike Williams here. This is obviously dependent on if Keenan Allen is going to be back or not. We are still unsure about that at the time I'm recording this video. If Keenan Allen is back, he would probably go here and Mike would go down a little bit, but Mike Williams is still going to be a top 15 option every single week for the most part. And Keenan Allen, you're always playing if he is playing. It's kind of the same thing with Michael Pittman. We aren't sure at this time if he's playing or not. And so if he does play, I would also probably rank him around here. But for this video, I'm not going to rank either of them, so I can give you guys a couple more options since this is just my top 25. But if those two guys play this week, play them. Don't ask any questions about it. They're in your lineups no matter what. But for right now, I have Mike Williams ranked here at my wide receiver 10. They're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, which, like I've talked about, has been a better defense than I think most people expected. But it doesn't matter against this offense and these talents. They're going to dominate. We saw that last week with Mike Williams on Thursday Night Football without Keenan Allen. If anyone was worried week 1 about him, don't be. He's a beast, and he's going to keep having weeks like this. So play Mike Williams everywhere you got him. The last guy I have in this tier is Courtland Sutton. Jerry Jeudy is a person we're also not totally sure about. I kind of think he will be out this week, and we saw what Courtland Sutton can do when that happens. He had 7 receptions for 122 yards this past week. And while it is a tougher matchup against SF, and they have been pretty good in coverage this year so far, I think Courtland Sutton is going to be just fine. If Jerry Jeudy is out, if he's in, he would definitely go down a bit, but you're still probably playing him no matter what. So for right now, Courtland Sutton, my wide receiver 11. Moving on from there to my wide receiver 12, I have T. Higgins. He had a pretty solid week this last week with 6 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. But like I've talked about, the Bengals offense has not looked good. But I think that they're going to fix that. They didn't look good at the beginning of last year, but I think that this is a different team, and I expected them to come out hot. Obviously, that has not happened, but I don't think it's time to fully hit the panic button yet. And we've seen their wide receivers be able to pull it out the past couple of weeks, so not too worried about it. And they're playing the New York Jets, so I think that they're going to come out here and just dog walk the Jets so they can get back on the right foot. And I want parts of that offense, so I have T. Higgins ranked here right now. The next guy I have ranked at my wide receiver 13 is Jalen Waddle. Now, I know I said a second ago that you're playing Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill as a wide receiver 1 every single week. Obviously, I guess this isn't technically a wide receiver 1, but you're still playing him regardless. And the only reason he's ranked at the wide receiver 13 is because they were going up against the Buffalo Bills, which is one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. All right, my battery is looking like it might die, so I'm going to try to fly through these rankings really quick and just get these out here for you guys. The last guy I have in this tier is Christian Kirk. Clear wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville, has been really good so far. I think he's going to keep it up. After that, in my next tier, I have Hollywood Brown. Definitely not doing as good as I think a lot of us thought, but still solid enough where he should be in your lineup. After that, I have Michael Thomas, who has caught touchdowns in both weeks so far. Chris Olave got more targets than him, but I think that Michael Thomas is still the clear wide receiver 1 and should be treated as such. After that, I have Brandon Cooks, clear wide receiver 1 in Houston. And then next is Gabriel Davis. If he plays, obviously. It looks like they didn't need him last night, but if he plays, you're going to play him. Now, for my last tier, I have Deontay Johnson. And then after that, I got CD Lamb. Neither of them very good offenses, but both a clear wide receiver 1s for their team. Similar situations, but more weapons. After that, I have Terry McLaurin. Damn, I thought I could make it through. My camera died. I'm sorry about this. I'm just going to blow up the rankings full screen and just talk through the rest of it since we're about to be done. But I had Terry McLaurin and DJ Moore there. And my last 3 guys I have in my top 25 rankings are Rashad Bateman, Drake London, and DK Metcalf. So yeah, here are my top 25 wide receiver rankings. Let me know what you guys think about them. I'm so sorry my camera died here at the end. Some other people I can mention that are right outside of these rankings, Allen Robinson and Curtis Samuel are right outside there. I think that there's a decent chance Curtis Samuel overtakes Terry McLaurin as a clear wide receiver 1, but Jahan Dotson actually ran the most routes out of all of them. So it's really tough to tell with that situation right now. If Chris Godwin plays, he could definitely be an interesting play, but I'm worried about him. Garrett Wilson also showed that he's going to be great and probably Joe Flacco's favorite target going on. So you can play him as a flex if you got him, but those are the guys I have right outside of my top 25. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be dropping my quarterback and tight end rankings soon. Stay tuned for those, and I will see y'all there. Later.